House Bill number 491 by Representative Shake Snyder. It is an act to amend Title 40, Regulation of Industrial Hemp.
Senator Long.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, this is a bill about industrial hemp. Now, let me be real clear. This is not marijuana. This is industrial hemp, a recognized agricultural commodity. So why are we here? The Farm Bill of 2014 created a pilot program that allowed different states to implement this pilot program to grow industrial hemp. This was very successful, and in the 2018 Farm Bill, the program, a full-blown program to license industrial hemp growth in the states was adopted in that Farm Bill, and it allowed for the state's commissioners of agriculture along with the AGs and the governors to adopt a set of guidelines for the industrial hemp to be grown in those in those states. That being said, it also created a path where if you didn't adopt it, that USDA could directly license people to grow it in the state. So here's our opportunity. This is our bill to be able to grow industrial hemp and process it in the state of Louisiana. Why is that important? It's a recognized agricultural product. It is something, another commodity that our farmers can grow and make money with. And if you look at the price of commodities lately, soybeans, wheat, cotton, and rice, all of those commodities, the prices are fairly low right now. The farmers in this state want the opportunity to have another commodity to grow while other commodities, so they can switch from one commodity to the other and try to help support themselves and make a living for their families. So what is the State Commissioner of Agriculture supposed to be? He's supposed to do rulemaking, authorized to do inspections, testing, enforcement, determine civil penalties, and create a state plan to submit to the federal government along with the AG and the governor. The legislature is to approve a state plan prior to submission to the federal government. The guidelines that the federal government have established is that there will be 4 industrial hemp licenses issued by Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry. 1 for a grower, authorizes a licensee to cultivate, handle, and transport. A different license for a processor, authorizes the licensee to handle, process, and transport. A seed producer authorizes the seed producer to sell, transport, approved seeds, and a contract carrier that authorizes licensee to transport industrial hemp. In the testing, now this is one of the most restrictive programs in the country, and there are 30. Curry, help me. There are 32 states, 42 states that have already adopted. 43 that are in the process, 30 some odd that have already adopted this. So the Commission of Agriculture shall have on all industrial hemp crops will be tested by Louisiana Department of Ag and Forestry to test for the THC content. If the content is above a 0.3%, which is a very low percent, remember, hemp is a distant cousin to marijuana, but it is not marijuana. The growers must have hemp within 15 days of the test, and if the test shows that the field is above 0.3% THC level, then the commissioner has the right to dispose or destroy of the crop. No questions asked. No matter how much money the farmer has put into it. So it's not in his interest to do it. What are some of the uses for industrial hemp? Well, paper, It makes one of the highest grade papers known, and there's also oils that can be derived from it. You may have heard of the CBD oil that's used by some people to, you can use it for rubbing or topography to put the to put it on places that are cut it what? Okay. Look, it has many uses. In committee, we had a lot of people testify that they get a lot of beneficial use out of it. And the last thing I want to say is it cannot, no products, no beverages or food can contain the CBD oil unless the USDA and the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, approves of that product. I'll see a question.
Senator Chabot.
Senator,
Yes, sir.
you are one of the 4 senators that represents Lafourche Parish, are you not?
I am.
You know, Lafourche Parish is like the 9th largest parish in the state. Did you know?
I did know.
You know what Lafourche Parish's #1 segment of its economy is? Many would say it's offshore oil and gas services, but they would be incorrect, wouldn't they? Because the #1 industry is what?
Agriculture.
Agriculture, right? Do you know how many?
Louisiana, it is the largest.
But in our parishes.
It is.
It is. And do you know that every single farmer that I've been in contact with is for this bill? I know that you know that because you're handling the bill.
That's why I'm up here.
Just check.
Senator Mills, you got a question?
Senator Lyon, you want your amendments? Pass the amendment out. Sir? They're out.
Thank you for bringing this legislation, Senator Ali. I just wanted to talk about the last section of the bill and just so you and people that are kind of working on it and the consumers have called me a lot about this issue. The last section of the bill will descheduleize hemp from being a Schedule 1 drug, and it'll mimic federal law. Did you know that?
Yes, but that is hemp, industrial hemp. That was also authorized in the 2018 Farm Bill federally.
Correct, and I'm saying it's good, but it also will allow now the purchase of CBD oil. It will not be a Schedule 1, so this will make it a lot easier for the consumers to get it. Did you know that?
I did. I did.
You have amendments?
Yes, sir. I have amendments sent up by Senator Lyon. It's at number 2770. 2770.
Senator Lyon on the amendments.
Okay. On the amendment, there were several things that needed to be changed. One provision of at the end of the amendments is a provision. There was a bill that was passed to allow to tax hemp. So we had to include that language. So this bill corresponds with the bill that we passed earlier so we can sell what we want to tax. The other provisions in here removes the prohibition on processing CBD that people purchase from out of state, which is authorized in the 2018 Farm Bill. Change LDH fee amendment that was adopted by Senate Finance to a $50 fee, so we're actually putting $1 on it. Authorizes all applications for license to authorize a designated responsible party if the application is a business entity. Allows CBD products produced under the FDA-approved pilot programs and produced by growers licensed directly by the USDA to be sold in-state. Set November 1st, 2019 as a deadline for LDH and ATC to propagate rules. Change the effective date for CBD product penalties to January 1, 2020. And that's basically what the amendments do.
Senator Clayton, you got a question on the amendment?
On the last page of the amendment. So on the last page on the amendments, it says Section 3 of this Act shall become effective only if House Bill 560 goes through. Is that the taxing part?
That is the taxing portion that we already passed that allows for a tax on the CBD products.
Okay. And when your bill is amended the way that you want and in the fashion that you want, it'll really just be following what the federal law says. Is that correct?
Absolutely. This was authorized in the 2018 Farm Bill, and they allowed us to create the structure. That's all this bill does.
Okay. And I think some folks actually built business models, opened businesses, and then got arrested when they opened their business. I saw that in Lafayette, and it wasn't marijuana, it was hemp.
They also caught him with a pound of marijuana in his car, too.
All right. In his car, but not in his shop.
Not in the shop.
Yeah, all right. So
I think that drew attention to him, but that wasn't why.
all right. So if the kids want the hemp shoes and the hemp shirts and the hemp paper and all that stuff, eventually we'll be able to farm that product, and these guys that can't sell their soybeans in China will be able to replace it with a different crop.
That's why I'm doing this, so we have the opportunity to grow it.
Any other questions on the amendment? On the amendment only? Any objection to adoption amendments? All right, that stands adopted. Dr. Thompson, you want to ask him a question now on the bill? You okay now? All right. On the floor, Senator Donahue, you wish to speak on the bill?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I had a knee operation. My knee was really hurting. My sister brought me a little jar or something one day and said, "You try this, it really helps." So I did. And I realized it was CBD oil, and I read some stuff about CBD oil. I went on the internet, looked it up, and I said, "This is pretty good," but I wonder if I should even be buying it. So one day I put a hat on, a top coat, turned the collar up, and I went to a CBD store in Mandeville, Louisiana. So as I was in the store, the owner of the store came over as I had myself all bundled up. He said, "Are you Senator Donahue?" I said, "No, I'm not. I'm Senator Allen." But the story is true, except I didn't tell him I was Senator Allen. But I tell you, that oil really helps my knee. And it helps some other folks I know that rub it on their hands who have arthritis. And I tell you, it's a good product. So I don't know if I ought to be at the microphone admitting all of that, but I'm telling you what my experience is, and I'm sure going to vote for that because everybody ought to have the opportunity to be able to use something that helps them. Thank you.
Was it good for your hair? Senator Thompson, you wish the floor on the bill?
Mr. President, members, I thought long and hard before I got up here. I didn't think you needed me to tell you anything about this, but I thought I would say it anyway. I had some understandings of a lot of things early on about the hemp. I worked with the House Ag Chairman. He was very gracious when we did a lot of studying, but all the things we found that we had a concern with, and we didn't want it to be a bad piece of legislation, so we amended it in our committee in the Senate, and we put probably 16 amendments on it. And you've got the ATC overseeing it, you got Mike Strain, you got the Department of Health overseeing it, you got the federal's departments overseeing it. It might have been a good idea to bring maybe a few more things into it, but I think it's about as well put together piece of legislation. And if it will do the farmers of this state a good deed by giving them an opportunity to grow this. We want to make it as much as we can for Louisiana farmers and those that are in business. So I think that we've got a bill that we can work with. It'll be probably 2 years before this legislation, from the legislation, that you might actually see the product. But I want to thank the Ag Committee and the Senate for working on this and having an open mind, and I was the first one that needed my mind opened on this a little bit more. I want to thank Clay Shakesider, the chairman. He spent hours and hours with his staff and my staff closing a lot of big gaps, and he was as anxious to make this safe and secure for the people that will be using it. But I am hopeful that, I'm a little hesitant, but I'm hopeful that the farmers will reap great benefits from it and businesses across the state, and hopefully we'll find it helping other folks other than Jack. Maybe we'll give John Smith some. So thank you. I see no questions. I will sit down.
Very good. Senator Long, you have right to close. Huh?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to say for the record, I don't have a trench coat. Yeah. Listen, bottom line, this is an opportunity for farmers in Louisiana to take part in an industry that's growing right now in the United States. Even though it's in a trial program, it's a billion-dollar industry across the United States. The projections are it'll quickly grow to a $2 or $3 billion industry. If we do not pass this bill, Louisiana will not be able to precipitate and our farmers will miss out. I'm sorry. And our farmers will miss out on a great opportunity. Participate. And our farmers will miss out. I think it's a great opportunity. This legislation was carefully drafted, and I urge for your passing.
All right. Senator Lyon move final passage. When the machines are open, those in favor vote yes, opposed no. Vote your machine, please. Vote your machine. Senator Martini, yes. Vote your machines, please. You through voting? Are you through voting? Senator LaFleur, yes. You through voting? All right, close them up, please. 34 yeas, 2 nays. The bill is finally passed. Move to reconsider vote on the motion. Senator Morrell, you ready yet on the?
I'm ready. I have a bill now, or I can do that bill, whatever you want.
Let's do this one, and then we'll do the other.
428 is Ryan.